Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to our Friday live stream. We can call it a Football Friday because the NFL draft is happening right now. Football, top of mind for a lot of folks. Longhorns expected to be taken off the board today, so we'll talk about that. We'll also get into some basketball discussion. I know Texas men's basketball right now is hot. Sean Miller is on the heater right now, so we'll get Jerry's thoughts about that as well. Well, guys, whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. Questions, comments, we'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. Just throw out a super chat. Shout out to our friends at Garage Beer. We'll tell you more about them coming up later on for being our lead sponsor on this program. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Davis, joined by the estimable Jerry Hamilton as well. Jerry, I know I don't know how much of the NFL draft going to watch. It's a long weekend of NFL draft stuff, but today I think Longhorn fans are a little bit giddy because we are expecting to hear a couple of names called today from the Longhorns, and Anthony Hill is probably top of mind, and Malik Muhammad are two of the names that I think Longhorn fans expect to be called earlier today in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I think we know, barring something crazy, that Anthony Hill is going to be a second-round pick. The question is where's his fit? As this thing moves into the late 30s, early 40s, does he have a fit in there? And then Manny Muhammad. I mean, some people have said that he could be a late second. I think it's more than likely he's a third, right, Rod? So all this stuff comes down to fits. If there's any trades, anybody trading up for somebody and trading down and whatnot. But I think Texas will have two guys off the board, in one in the second, one in the third today. And it'll be a great day for those guys because they were both. Anthony Hill's a 5-star prospect who's a 3-and-done guy. So you want those guys to get drafted high. And then Malik Muhammad was a 3-and-done guy as well, ranked up in the top 40 to 50 in the country by most people coming out of high school. So you want those guys to go. You want them to get out of the year early, which they both did. And now you want them to get drafted as high as possible. It's good for your program to continue to have your 3-and-out guys drafted, to have your highest ranked guys have a chance to come out after 3 years and prove you're developing those players. So it's another good day coming up for Steve Sarkisian and the development of the program.
Yeah, I was looking at an article on ESPN about best fits potentially for some of these day 2 prospects, and they had Anthony Hill and the Cowboys as being a really good fit. I know the Cowboys would have to move back up into the second round to probably get a guy like Anthony Hill. Really deep linebacker draft too. Yeah, you got a lot of really good linebackers that are still on the board. In addition to Anthony Hill being one of them, but Jacob Rodriguez still on the board. Trotter still out there. CJ Allen still on the board. Yep. So there will be a run on linebackers at one point in the second round. I don't know if it's going to start with Anthony Hill or he's going to be somewhere in it. But whenever that run happens, because teams need linebackers and they may be moving up to get some, I think it'll be like a run in the second round somewhere, maybe at the start of it, at the middle. But that's some really good linebackers on the board. And that's one of the deepest positions in this draft too. So Anthony Hill, in my opinion, because he can rush the passer. Everybody wants a linebacker that can be a off ball run stopper on early downs, and a guy you can spin down on third downs on the edge, and that you can help, kind of shift the front with, and he can do that, and a guy that can rush the passer. So I think Anthony Hill's going to end up with a really good team, and some people think it might be the Cowboys. There's buzz about that, I'll just say. Yeah. But the Cowboys got to make a move to do that.
So, Rod, my takeaway thing that really caught my attention in round 1 wasn't a pick. Well, it was a pick. It was Sean McVay's reaction to taking Simpson. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Like that type of reaction to say, I never talked to the guy. And like Simpson's like, I never talked to Sean McVay. I was like, well,
never talked to him.
I guess you knew where Sean McVay wanted to go in the draft. And the GM just went over the top of his head and made pick. What was your big takeaway? And what do you think of that? I haven't seen that very often, the reaction like that, where those guys are sitting together.
Yeah, this is my thing. I don't know because it's pretty obvious that Sean McVay looks displeased, right? In some way. He doesn't look over the top happy about the selection, but I'm not sure if that is because even before the pick, there are now interviews coming out like of Sean McVay telling, I think it was Kay Adams. He told Kay Adams, I haven't done as much research on Ty Simpson, maybe as you have. And people were like, whoa, you know what I mean? And then you end up drafting a guy. And I don't know if that's gamesmanship. You know, there's a lot of games being played before the draft on misinformation, disinformation, all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if that's it. And then even after the post-draft pick interview that he had there with the GM Snead, I'm not sure if that was him trying to have the back of his starting quarterback, Matt Stafford, and don't Matt Stafford to get all, you know, in his feelings about the pick and his future, and just like, no, and just so he can go, hey, Matt, I'm your guy. Oh, you see how I acted up there? You see how upset I was? I'm upset about this damn thing. I don't want this. I want you. You my guy. All right. So now, and I'm not sure if I'm not sure what's going on, but there's something going on.
Yeah. There's
something going on with that pick. And I don't, this is my thing about Ty Simpson. I like Ty Simpson. I think he's got good mechanics. I like him as a player, and maybe I thought somebody would have rolled the dice on him at the bottom of the first round. Shout out to Dan Orlovsky, who's been yelling from the rooftops. He's a NFL starting quarterback and then first round quarterback, and we saw what happened. But Sean McVay upgraded from Jared Goff, who had also elite tools. He was a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But he upgraded because he wanted the most elite tools you could get potentially with a pocket passer that could unlock his offense and make it in terms of the unlimited potential of the offense when you got Matt Stafford. No look passes. He got to defend every blade of grass, all that kind of stuff. And Ty Simpson, I'm not sure you get elite traits like that. I'm not sure he's that toolsy. I like the mechanics and, you know, I mean, I'm sure processing wise, football IQ, all that is in the discipline. I'm sure although he checked all those boxes, but the elite traits and tools, he doesn't really have those.
No, I totally agree. So I actually think McVay's legitimately pissed.
He might be. So it looked like
it's the twilight of Stafford's career, and he probably wanted him some wide receiver help. Yeah, I think they went over his head. Somebody called it a nepo pick. I mean, it's certainly.
He knows the family, right? There's also out there that
GM. Boy, it smells like.
He advised him on his decision to come out, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So. Something similar happened in San Fran. Remember early on, it was like that Shano wanted a pocket passing quarterback, and they ended up drafting Trey Lance. And the belief was that Lynch was like, "Hey, man, this guy had the potential for this player, in your offense. We got to try to unlock it." And then obviously it bombed, didn't work out. But the only thing that saved their relationship was Purdy.
Yeah,
he drafted Purdy. You know what I mean? In the 7th round, ended up working out. So it's like, you know what? We disagreed about it, but who gives a damn? We still got our franchise quarterback, so we okay. You know, I don't know who's coming to save the Rams if this thing don't work out and save Sean McVay and Snead in their relationship if it doesn't work out.
No.
But Sean McVay, if Sean McVay signed off on it, I'm in. Because
100%.
I respect Sean McVay that, but if Sean McVay is signed off on it, I'm in. Then I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which is probably true.
So Rod, my other one from the first round was how few of the guys drafted in the first round Texas actually went against last year. And I was looking at the 27 mock draft next year.
That's good.
The Texas schedule. And if you're first round average mock draft, Texas is going to play against 11 or 12 likely or projected first round picks. Obviously, some of this stuff will change. Last year, obviously the 4 Ohio State guys. But outside of that, it was only Monroe Freely and Casey Concepcion. So there were 6 guys they played against. Now, people could say, well, they played against Peter Woods and Miller 2 years ago. Okay, but I'm talking this last year's schedule. And what it told me is how much more difficult this year's schedule actually is. From a teams and a talent standpoint, I mean, there's 11 to 12 projected first-round picks right now in the 27 draft that's on Texas' schedule. And how much fun will the draft party be next year here on OTF? Because Texas will probably have 4 first-rounders. So you're looking at half the first round either played for Texas or played against Texas in one season. That's heavy schedule. Yeah.
No, it's a good point. You're right about that. I feel like when they had that 2025 draft, where Texas had 3 first-rounders, that draft felt like they ended up playing against a lot of guys who were drafted high. But maybe I'm off about that. I felt like that one, I remember watching and going, man, okay, I remember Texas. But you're right, Jerry. That's no doubt that the amount of – and someone said, because I remember people talking about the conference selections, obviously first-round picks by conference, and that the Big Ten for the first time in like a decade plus finally surpassed the SEC in first round draft picks. They had 10. I think the SEC had 7. And someone said, well, one of the reasons is the SEC's got a lot of returning talent. And I was like, that is true. I don't know if that's the reason, because we've seen more of the Big Ten closing the gap with the SEC for a lot of reasons, coaching and, the NIL and rev share, all that kind of stuff, and obviously the championships. So I think it may be more than that. But to your point, there is a lot of returning talent that in the SEC coming back. That's unfortunately for Texas, because they got to play against a lot of it. They do also have a lot of it themselves. But Luke, sidebar here. That Ohio State team, dude, that won the national title.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about how loaded that damn team was. I mean, now they got 8 first rounders now?
Yeah, it looked like a Nick Saban team at Alabama in an NFL draft, because I think they had 4 each year, right?
Yeah.
4 rounders each year.
8 total, and they had, I don't know, was that 14 or something total?
And Jeremiah Smith.
And so you're gonna have probably 1 or 2 next year.
That team. Yeah. 17. 18.
That is, I mean, if you're an Ohio State fan, you're happy because you did win that title a couple of years ago, but you got to be thinking, how the hell were we an early exit in the playoffs? Because you easily had the most talented team in college football, and it actually wasn't as close as we would like it to think it was last season. Like, you were talent-wise, but that's how you know it ain't. This is the test for Texas. It really is, because you've accumulated a ton of talent. Like, you have one of the more talented rosters in college football. Maybe only like Ohio State and like Oregon may be able to contend with you just in terms of talent overall. Yep. But it takes more than talent. Ask Ohio State. It does, because they had the most talent.
Miami probably had the second most talent in terms of teams that were in the playoffs last year when you look at high draft picks, right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, what, they have 3 in the first round yesterday?
Yeah, you're right. Good point.
Probably going to have 2 or 3, 4 off the board today. So the other thing is that the draft yesterday was very telling of is how important recruiting top high school talent still is. 21, I believe it's 21 of the 32 first-round picks left and were drafted by the same school they signed with out of high school. So in the day and age where we say everything's about the portal, the NFL draft kind of said the opposite. Because if you're at these power schools and you can recruit the guys Ohio State did, the Colin Simmons of the world, Francis Mauiaga, Reuben Baines, if you can recruit those high-end talent guys, you still have to build your program through that. I mean, you supplement the portal when you need to, but look at all those Ohio State guys. Ohio State's not a huge portal program. A lot of their guys are homegrown.
Yeah.
I mean, they were signed with Ohio State out of high school. In the first-round draft last night, kind of put that in spades that, look, your top guys in the country in high school football, if you're a school that has an opportunity to sign those guys, 3, 4, 5 of those guys, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those guys in every class, and you keep those guys are going to have big returns come Saturdays and in the NFL draft.
Yeah, no, you're right, because, I mean, Texas will have projected to have 4 first-rounders next season, 3 of them are homegrown.
Yep. And then you get into that draft next year, and the portal is going to essentially double Texas' number in the draft. But Jelani McDonald, I mean, Ryan Wingo, who knows who else comes out? I mean, could somebody really come at Alex January?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of guys in this draft for Texas that were signed out of high school next year. That's the way it's stacking up. Now the portal doubled the numbers. What happened?
That's a good point, and I agree with you. I think the key word back when you were breaking it down was keeping those guys.
Yes.
So keep those guys at programs like Texas or Ohio State. They gotta play and develop. Number one, because if they're not playing, they're probably thinking about leaving. And you have to, as a program, have success, because if you don't have success as a program, they also may think about leaving. Like, you know what? I want to go somewhere where I can win some championships. So it is tough to get those high-level recruits and then make sure you're developing them and they're on the right track. But also as a program, you have to be succeeding as a program. Otherwise, there's no way for you to guarantee they're coming back. You can make a great sales pitch, but they have to like the environment they're in. They got to like that they're winning. You have to be moving toward their increasingly getting closer and closer to their goal, which is NFL and winning championships and being the best player they could be. And if you're not, then Cam Coleman can decide, you know what, I don't like it here, man. You guys aren't winning enough. I know y'all can pay me, but I just don't.
Cam Coleman flipped from A&M to Auburn as an in-state guy from Phoenix City.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all aren't getting it done. I'm out. Hey, there was another cool thing that happened in the draft last night. And Coach Top mentioned his guy, one of his good buddies, Coach Samples, obviously. But sorry, Coach Top, I'm using your line for something. Jordan Tyson out of Allen High, I believe he played at Allen High. He's in DFW up that way. Was picked in the first round by or out of Arizona State. Originally was at Colorado, I believe. I'm not sure. It was at the first time, Rod, that they said on the telecast last night that his brother, Jordan Tyson, was a first-round pick in the NBA draft, too. Actually signed with Texas and was at Texas a year.
Jalen Tyson, yeah. I don't know if they mentioned it. I couldn't hear it. So I don't know if they mentioned it because I couldn't hear it.
Oh, yeah, you all were on air. But so, I mean, to have both, imagine your mom and dad this morning. I mean, like, wow, we had an NBA first-round draft pick and an NFL first-round
And they went to the same high school, I'm assuming, right?
Well, the basketball kid, Jalen, moved around like all basketball.
Okay.
John Paul. He went to Pope John Paul, a couple others up there. But the crazy thing is Texas is going to do it in the next year or two. Gooseby and Gooseby. It's coming for the Horns.
Oh, that's a great that'd be a great research project. How often does that happen?
I can't recall it. Yeah. In football and basketball.
Yeah, and different sports like that. Like that's why, because you've seen it happen in, I think, the same sport a few times.
Right, baseball, football. Yeah,
just because that's the family business sometimes, and then the legacy thing and the Gen X. But the different sports, I bet that is a great research project. and
the Goosebees are going to bring that to the University of Texas. Ooh, I mean, if Austin Gooseby stays 2 years, I think he'll have a chance to be a lottery pick in the NBA draft. If he has a great first year and goes out, I don't know, probably top 20 pick at that point, but it would actually be, it'd be good for Texas basketball because that means they had a hell of a year. But it'd be kind of cool if both Goosebees came out the same year, won the first round in the same year. In the same year, we're first round in two different sports. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy because that would be wild. Like that's worth researching whether that's ever happened before in the same year. Okay, we'll get back. I know you guys may have some questions. We'll get to, and we want to talk some Texas basketball as well. We'll dive into that. Before we do, let's thank our friends over at Garage Beer, and we'll move on and dive into some other topics. Love Fridays because Friday means I can pop the top on Garage Beer. Get the weekend started the right way. That's what I love about Garage Beer. You'll love it too, folks. It's a great light beer. They don't try to impress you with the fancy story about their ingredients and the process that is a secretive process. They're not trying to impress you that way. They want to impress you with two things. All right, that it's a great tasting light beer. All right, and that you can enjoy it anytime you want to because the garage is always open. The Garage Beer is crisp, refreshing, and 95 calories. It's beer flavored beer, like I said, to be enjoyed anywhere you go out and hang out with friends and family. As a matter of fact, got the fridge stocked with some Garage Beer. I won't pop the top. I'll wait till the show's over at least, but we'll dive into some Garage Beer to get the weekend started. But I would encourage all of you all to enjoy some Garage Beer. The garage is always open. Thank you to Garage Beer for sponsoring our Friday live stream. Jerry, before we dive back into some topics here, would you give the folks out there a message from our friends over at Vaughn Lane?
Yeah, what is first class without the fees? It's Vaughn Lane. I love it when airlines advertise low fares and then hit you with fees for everything. Want a seat fee, want to check a bag fee, want Wi-Fi that actually connects, good luck. Some carriers are now making you pay $80 or more just for a seat assignment on their cheapest tickets, or you roll the dice at check-in. Relaxing way to start a trip, right? Not really. So Vaughn Lane flips that whole script. You walk into a beautiful hotel terminal, no lines, no TSA, no stress. You board a coach with just 22 first-class leather seats. Everything's included. Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, hot towel service, and complimentary meals on select departures. Bags, bring them, no charge. And the internet is Starlink, which means it's fast, reliable, and actually works the entire trip, not just when the plane hits cruising altitude and the stars magically align. Plus, Vaughn Lane just expanded with more departure times between Houston and San Antonio and between Fort Worth and Austin. Vaughn Lane serves Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. Go to vonlane.com and enter promo code OTF26 for $20 off your first ride. What is Von Lane? It's a private jet on wheels and a great time while you're traveling, Rob Babers.
All right, thank you for that, Jerry. All right, one more sponsor. Let's thank our friends at Prize Picks while we're giving shout out to sponsors. Also, one of our sponsors, we appreciate them. I'm telling you, if you're not watching sports and also picking with Prize Picks, you're doing yourself a disservice. It gives you just one more reason to care about the games. Every play matters, every moment matters. You're locked in the whole time, and if you have a chance to pad your wallet in the process, why not? It's easy. It's not complicated. It's really quick as well. There's no nonsense. You just go more or less on player stats. That's it. Points, yards, hits, assists, whatever you're watching. You can build your lineup and let it ride. It could take seconds. It'll take minutes. Trust me, it'll be an easy part of your day. And the best part is you can mix and match across different sports. So let's say your favorite player on your favorite team is really hot, or let's say your favorite player, period, is rolling. You can mix and match that with Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, golf, even esports. Today, we're going to go with Max Scherzer to have less than 4 strikeouts. He's been struggling lately, registering no more than 3 in his last 5. So that's a pretty good pick. And also taking form LSU star Dylan Beavers to have more than half a hit. He's been getting out of a funk lately, and look forward to him kind of bouncing back. So looking forward to that continuing. Sorry, him not bouncing back. So the fun of it is you just trust your gut. You can roll with it. It's really easy. And if you haven't tried it yet, now's the perfect time. You can download the app. Use the code HMA, play $5, and they're giving you $50 in lineups instantly. That's the code HMA, play $5 and get $50. One heck of a deal for you. And as always, play smart, play responsibly, play Prize Picks. All right, got a super chat from Juan here. Thank you, Juan, for the super chat. It says, okay, when is one of the highs going to announce anytime soon or no?
Good question. Good question. I think somebody will pop before June OVs for sure.
All right, I like that. Okay, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that. So I hate the fact that Jerry has the community thinking I'm an Oregon fan. I hate you, Jerry, for that.
Joe Z, what was interesting, he sent me a DM the other day of his football tickets for an Oregon game. It was actually really cool. I'm so excited he's finally going to go after all these years. He is going Joe Z got tickets for, I'm trying to think of what game was that you sent me. Oh, it was Boise State in Eugene, the season opener. So I'm really excited for Joe Z that he finally gets to go to an Oregon game in person. That's great.
So now you got me thinking Josie like lives in the Pacific Northwest or something. Like, you see, but I'm sure that somehow Jerry's trolling Josie. He says, "Nah, Jerry, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." All right. Thank you for the super chat there, Juan. We appreciate it. Jerry, I know you wanted to review some of the moves recently that Sean Miller made.
Yeah.
He's on a bit of a heater. There's no doubt this Texas team is going to be a top 10 team starting out this season next year, looking like hell. They may be ranked closer to the top 5. Give the folks out there the lowdown on the latest from Sean Miller and his team.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis was a tremendous pickup, considering you already had 5 guys in the portal. The St. Mary's combo guard averaged 14 a game and was all West Coast Conference first team, put up 31 on Gonzaga, 23 and 21 against Santa Clara, who were NCAA tournament teams, 19 against Vanderbilt. He can really score the basketball. Natural scorer, is one of the leading scorers in Nike EYBL AAU coming out of high school, which is hard to do with all the talent in Nike EYBL. But he has got a complete offensive game, especially now he's learning to play off 2 feet in the painted area against bigger, longer-limbed athletes, but can really shoot it. But it's not – he's more than a shooter now. He can really get the spots in the mid-range. He can play in the ball screen game and get downhill on people. It was an unexpected level of pickup for Texas. It was one that kind of fell towards Texas a little bit. You know, when these guys go in the portal, Texas calls and probably calls with over 100 guys in the portal this year, right? Just to feel them out, talk to an agent, kind of say, okay, could this be a fit? Do we want to move forward? They had a couple of calls with Mikey Lewis. I think maybe even a Zoom call there. And they were interested, but then things started to take shape. They got Isaiah Johnson. They got David Punch. Then they ended up going after Elijah Freeman as Dalen Swain's ascending in the draft. And then they went after Amari Evans as a defensive stopper, 6'5", long arms. And so they built this thing out. And then, you know, Lewis in the meantime had visited Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. And he was the number 2 guy at Vanderbilt. I think the Ace Glass, who's really good out of Washington State. So Vanderbilt wasn't going to be able to take both of them. And I think he kind of looked at his options and said, there's a couple of those situations I don't really want to go to. And he turned down a Villanova visit. And so his agent pretty much reached out to Texas. And the day before he announced it, hey, my guy really liked the conversations with y'all. If y'all have interest in him, he would want to be a part of that team. And Texas couldn't turn it down at that point. He hasn't visited yet. He'll be visiting in the future. So that one kind of sometimes when it's going good and you're making good impressions and people see your kind of proof of concept in the NCAA tournament, things can work out for you. And a lot of these kids know each other, right, from different areas and who's on teams. They play against AAU. They play them against their fellow teammates in AAU a lot of times. But that was an unbelievably good addition to this team. And I just love what Texas has done. And it's not about collecting talent. The pieces are all really fitting together for Texas. I think Sean Miller, Chris Ogden, all those guys have done a bang-up job building a team, not collecting talent, but building a team. And the roster, the portal class for a lot of people is ranked 1 or 2, right? The analytics people have Texas really high next year. They see how the pieces are fitting together from an analytics standpoint. So a lot to be excited about with Texas basketball. They have added the right pieces. They've put together a really impressive roster. And I've said before, and I'm on the limb, and I don't really care. I think all 5 of their starters will be NBA draft picks in either 27 or 28 next year. So it's going to be a fun team to watch. Does that guarantee you're going to a Final Four or anything? No. But it means you got a chance, and all you can ask for is a chance.
What else does Sean Miller have left to do in the portal, if anything?
The only thing would be a backup minor role player center. Now, they like John Clark, who redshirted, and they like Louis Obior as a shot blocker, a 7-footer who redshirted. The key is, do they want to add one more piece, just an experience piece? And I know most of the people say, oh, you got to take somebody you have experience. Well, Sean Miller's pretty good at developing players too. So I'm fine either way with that. If they go get somebody in a minor role, then great. If they don't end up, I think they're fine at the same time because people have seen that Sean's developing players. He's got a track record of developing players. His guys get better throughout a season. And those guys have had a full year in Texas program practicing against really good players and being developed, and they have this summer and fall to continue to be developed. So if they took somebody to be a minor role backup big, it's not going to be some expensive NIL guy. It would be somebody to play a minor role. But if they don't, I think they're fine too. I think they might go that direction to protect against injury. Matos is in foul trouble a lot because of the way he plays, and he'll improve slightly. But that would be it. And look, I think they got a chance next year to do some really good things, some really cool things.
All right, CB wants to know: is it a top 10 preseason basketball team, Jerry?
If it's me ranking, absolutely. Most people have them like 8 to 9 right now. I personally would take them over Virginia, who people have Virginia ranked ahead. But we got to see how the portal finishes up. You know, the hard thing about rankings right now is how does the portal finish up for everybody? North Carolina just lost their big to the NBA draft today and he's gone. He didn't go in the portal. He's just gone. So they lost a 7-footer. But you got to see who could pop back from the NBA draft. Like, could Malik Thomas come back to Arkansas possibly? Right? There's a couple of things out there that could change where teams are ranked, but Texas is going to be top 10 worthy. See how it all shakes out. I could see Texas ranked anywhere from 7 to 10 to 11 in all these preseason rankings. They're not going to be below that unless some crazy things happen in the portal at the end.
All right. And Loba Red says, I'm low-key more excited for b-ball than football somehow after this portal season. All right, slow down now, Loba Red. But it is, I mean, it's a lot of excitement I always give Sean Miller a lot of credit, man. They got a ton of momentum right now. There's more buzz right now about basketball than there usually is this around, draft time. We just got done with spring football. I usually don't hear this much basketball buzz.
No, well, and credit to the Texas fan base. I mean, Matt could tell you this. Our videos, how many people are watching our basketball videos are through the roof compared to what they have been. So credit to the Texas fan base for y'all coming out and following what Sean Miller's doing. We're above and beyond from the commitment videos and kind of the portal breakdown videos than what we even expected.
Yeah, no, it is. It's it really is. Like, I'll give Sean Miller a lot. After that run, though, he did the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You created, you created the buzz. It was like it's out of substance. It's not like it's manufactured. Like it's people watched the product, saw the team get better, and now they're watching what he's doing by assembling this next team via the portal. And yeah, it's no doubt there should be a ton of excitement. Something else that I know you wanted to get into, Jerry.
Yeah.
NIL and RevShare brings it up. He says, "Wow, Arkansas just cut their men's and women's tennis programs."
That's scary stuff, man. That's an SEC team cutting tennis. Like,
yeah,
and that's a financial crunch. I mean, that's what it is. Hey, we gotta have John Calipari's got to be taken care of in basketball. Baseball's got to be taken care of. We got to take care of football the best we can. Even though we're not really going to be the high end SEC competitor from an NIL standpoint. But that, to me, I look at that and say that's actually a major move that probably won't get enough attention, because that's where finances are for some people right now, trying to really make sure they can take care of their top sports. And if we're going to start to see some, I mean, that's an SEC program cutting men's and women's tennis. How many more major universities are going to see cut a couple of sports, a men's and women's sport? Because you have to do one of each, right, for Title IX. But
yep.
I'm interested to see in the next few years how many of these schools start making some minor cuts, because that's kind of a major deal to me.
Yep. I agree with you. I think it's good. Unfortunately, it might become a bit of a minor trend across college sports. Here's a bit of a snippet from Hunter Yurichek. He's the athletic director there. It says, after considerable reflection and thoughtful discussion, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue our men's and women's tennis programs. He said, we understand the disappointment and emotion this news brings to many. The landscape of college athletics continues to evolve, requiring us to make challenging choices as we balance competitive opportunities, resources, and the long-term sustainability of our department. That's what he's saying. Jay's like, man, guys, with the way that now with rev sharing and the way that the new landscape of college sports is set up economically, we can't afford men's and women's tennis. No. We cannot not and compete in the major revenue generating sports, which is what
this goes to what Cody Campbell was saying. People can like or not like Cody Campbell, but this is kind of what he's been talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he's probably going to end up being correct, is what it feels like to me, on what he's been talking about, saving college sports.
Yep. And unfortunately, this is also because of the lack of leadership and the lack of direction and the lack of guardrails. All that stuff is connected, because if you did have a better apparatus and a better system and better leadership in place, I don't know if teams would have to be in this desperate, or programs in this desperate position.
Yeah.
You might have had, but maybe it was inevitable. If you were moving toward this new type of college sports where you essentially have professionalized everything, maybe this was inevitable.
I mean, and people, like, I think if you start adding up the money and say, well, what does tennis really cost? I mean, I think it's flights, it's hotels, it's meals. I mean, you add all these up, and I'm guessing both sports a 7-figure sport and spent. Yeah. I mean, coaching salaries.
Yeah, I love the numbers. I mean, they won't share it, but somebody will dig it up, though. Somebody there, some journalists will put in a freedom of information request, and they'll get the information. They'll get it. Because I'm with you. I wonder how much money are we talking about here? Is it actually going to make a difference, or is this just, is it
just an NIL play for bigger sports?
Both. There you go. All right, we got a couple of super chats here. Justin, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Says, any chances on another watch with us tonight? It's awesome seeing the kids develop and go off to the draft. Great stuff, fellas. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate it. Yeah, Lacey, last night it was a first round live watch. And we kind of did it because we are looking forward to 2027. Excuse me, the proof of concept. Basically, we're going to do it in game live watch in the first round. But next year, there'll be 4, maybe more than that, Longhorns drafted in the first round. So we wanted to try to do it to see logistically how it works, that kind of thing. But we'll have the whole OTF crew next year, and we'll streamline it even better because now we've actually done it, and Matthew can kind of work out the kinks logistically and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have better ideas about how to run it. So it was basically, we wanted to, do it. So we're not going to do one tonight. It's basically what I'm telling you. Yeah. We're not doing the in-draft live watch tonight. So apologies about that, Justin. But next year we will be doing it for the first round. So we kind of just wanted to do it for the first round to see how it worked. And it was a fast first round. I think it was like 2 hours and 40 something minutes, 2 hours and 53 minutes. It was like 36 minutes shorter than the 2025 first round of the NFL draft. So not that matters, but basically it'll be as long as a game. So we'll do it next year. So
hey, Rod. So I just looked up real quick while you're in talking to the people. In 2010-11, and I'd have to have more time to look through this. Men's and women's tennis teams total operating expenses combined were $1.3 million 15 years ago. So you can bet it was probably a lot closer to 2 combined. So about $1 million a piece probably is what we're talking about. So difference of $2 million.
That ain't pocket change.
No.
That
buys a pretty good power forward.
That's
your game in the basketball portal.
Just one. Just one. All right, thank you for the super chat, Justin. Rocky with a super chat. Thank you, Rocky. All right, I think he's trolling here. Rocky says, "Fun fact Friday, Joe Z favorite song, Shake Your Tail Feather."
Yep. That's true. No, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shake Your Tail Feather. I'm trying to think who sang Shake Your Tail Feather. Can you get extra bonus?
Joe Z.
Joe Z might know. I can't remember the artist that sang Shake Your Tail Feather, but I appreciate that. Rocky P, thank you for the super chat. Very kind of you. Yeah, my man CV says, I think OTF should be live at the 227 draft. I will say Bobby brought that up.
That's a good idea.
Bobby did bring it up. Now, he brought it up last night. I don't know if he was in because he literally brought it up last night and said, hey, we should get credentials. Yeah. So he's already put in credentials, or he's putting in credentials.
Yeah. Where's the location of it next year?
Ooh, Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. There you go.
I believe it's in D.C.
We should. Yeah.
So that may have a different plan altogether. We'll still do a live watch, but it may be there in D.C. Who knows? Especially if you're talking about historic stuff. Now, I know you got to put in for press credentials really early, so yeah, Bobby should definitely do it. But if you're talking about Arch going 1 and Colin Simmons going 2, that kind of stuff. I mean, this year you had the best quarterback go 1, which is not a surprise. That's usually the case. And the best pass rusher go 2. And Colin Simmons has definitely got a chance to be the best pass rusher coming out in that draft. And Arch has got a really good chance to be the best quarterback coming out in the draft. And that would be but that also would mean that everything went right. And Arch is probably also going to be trying, if Arch is going to meet the expectations, which are ridiculously, I mean, they're ridiculously high. I mean, you could argue they're unrealistic, the expectations for Arch. Yeah. But if he meets them, he's basically going to do what Fernando Mendoza did, what Cam Newton did, and what Joe Burrow did to be able to win a national title, win a Heisman, and then go number 1 overall in the same season.
Yeah.
And that's a tall order, but that is kind of what the expectations are for Arch. And Fernando Mendoza, of course, did it just recently. But it's hard to do that. And that's what we're expecting from Arch this year. Think about it. This is the conversation we're having casually, like it's not a generational thing. Yeah.
So that'd be great to go there. I mean, the press row, everything that comes along with it would be great. I love that idea.
Yeah, I've never been to a draft. I've never been. My brother went to like the draft that was in Nashville. He went to that one and he said it was crazy. It was like, I don't know, it was like 350,000 people or something like that in the street. It was crazy.
There will likely be a lot of Texas fans at that too next year.
You're probably right about that. That's a great point. I haven't think, and you may see about with the signs up. Who's tanking for Arch right now? I mean, after all is said and done, somebody's going to be tanking for Arch, or maybe a few teams will be. That's a good question too. Well, who's going to be trying to get that number 1 overall pick next season, and it likely be Arch Manning? Has Jerry ever traveled north of Atlanta?
It's a great question, and it's a funny question too. But yeah, because look, when I was ESPN Under Armour, we had events up at Under Armour all the time in Baltimore. Been to Virginia looking at kids, Carolinas, all the way up. Some of our offices were in Boston. So taking a lot of look, been to AAU tournaments, been up to Under Armour camps in Chicago, all around the country. So one thing I've always said about this job is it's taking me about anywhere I want to go in the country. Heck, we even had an Under Armour camp in Cologne, Germany, which was awesome. A great experience. So I actually have. Good question. But it was when I was doing this nationally more so.
That's crazy. In Cologne, Germany?
It was awesome. Some people asked us to put on the camp there, and we were like, we're like, we sent it up the ladder, and Under Armour was like, yeah.
This is why Jerry is so big on the international players. It's all coming together now. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I think there was a camp, and that wasn't in Berlin, right? That's a long ways away from Berlin. So all the best athletes weren't there.
Yeah.
But I think we had 220, 30 guys, and I think 8 of them ended up playing Division I football, and none of them had offers at the time.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's pretty cool. They love ball over there in Germany. Now they love it.
Yeah, because it's they planted the seeds of that fandom during the NFL Europe days, right?
Yeah. And they're physical kids, physical athletes.
Yeah, and apparently they still love American football, like from the NFL Europe days. It was like that was actually one of the best organizations in NFL Europe, as I believe in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I know you've been big on it, and Jerry, I agree with you. I think the rest of the college football world is catching up. The NFL's been on it, but I think the rest of the college football world is catching up. Like, hey, man, these international prospects, it may be worth investing in a few of them.
I agree.
Yeah. Good stuff there. All right. Hey, Rocky's got another one. Thank you, Rocky. We appreciate it. Rocky's on the roll. Says Saints are going to sell everything for Arch. Yeah. I didn't think about it. Saints would be one of those teams. Yeah. That would make sense.
You want to play in your hometown, though?
Remember, that's what they didn't want VY to do that. Remember, that was one of the reasons the Texans didn't draft VY. They were like, hometown, we don't know. That might be too much for him. And maybe they were right about it. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I wish he'd have went somewhere other than the Titans, but I digress. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a knock against a player? Do you not want a player? Is that too much pressure? I don't know. It's something to ask a scout. Is that looked upon favorably? But the Saints are definitely going to be one of them teams because they're not good enough. They'll be in the running for it.
Yeah.
They'll be in that conversation too. Just don't go to the Browns. It's like two teams I don't want them to go to. Browns is one of them. And I usually would say the Jets, but I think the Mannings might be cool with the Jets because it's New York City. Yeah. So they might be all right with the Jets. And the question also is that if you do get the ultimate, your ultimate realization of your goals, which is winning a national title with Arch, and then Arch, wins the Heisman and all this kind of stuff, you do have to worry about Sark and some NFL owner or GM said, hey, I like him in that offense, and you're an NFL guy. Can I get the package deal? You do if it looks really good. Say you're like a LSU offense from that kind of thing, like from 2019. Like the offense looks really good, and he's rolling, and they're like, man, honestly, I just want what I saw. And you will get, I guarantee, a team or two that's thinking about that. Not saying that it's realistic, not saying Sark would consider it, even though he would. But I think you'll get a team that thinks about it because they don't give a damn about NFL coaches these days. So especially if it's a team that's that bad and they guys had that job for 2-3 years already, they can make a move like that.
I mean, look, if Sark ended up going to the NFL, we've always thought, look, he has interest in it. Of course he does. But if he did, man, I would love to just go get Dan Lanning and put Joe Z in a really tough position. And Coach Top.
Seriously. Oh, that's great. But like I said, that's a good problem to have. That'd be a first world problem.
Yeah.
It's like you'd love to have that problem. If that ends up being your issue at the stress point at the end of the day, then I think you're in a really good place. All right, let's thank a couple of our sponsors. Before we move on, let's thank our friends over at Garage Beer one more time. We appreciate our friends at Garage Beer. And I got my Garage Beer ready. I'm not going to pop the top just yet, but I will once the show is over. I'll pop the top. But right now, I'm just enjoying the weekend, and the best way to do it is to do it with Garage Beer. Garage Beer is crisp, refreshing. It's only 95 calories. It's beer-flavored beer. They're not trying to impress you with all of the fancy terminology about their brewing process. They're not trying to impress you, telling you about the ingredients and how fresh the ingredients are. Yeah, they've got all that. That's no doubt about that. But what they really want to impress you with is the taste, and it tastes good. I can vouch for it. It's great tasting, and it's crisp. It's refreshing, but it's only 95 calories. So if you're trying to stay fit like I am, the best light beer for you is Garage Beer. Beer-favorite beer. The garage is always open at Garage Beer. All right, before we move on, let's also tell you about our friends over at Hayes City. Jerry, could you do us a favor and tell us about the great menu over at Hayes City Store?
Yeah, there are very few restaurants that once you go to, you immediately know they're just special. Hayes City Store is definitely one of those places that's scratch-made Texas comfort food. They got the famous truck stop enchiladas, award-winning chicken fried steak, homemade desserts. All of it's absolutely delicious. All of it is also from scratch. There's live music 6 nights a week, including Friday and Saturday, with 50 beer taps, ice cold long necks, and tasty margaritas if you want to get out there this week and the weather's turning good. There are also 13 TVs alone in their ice house, perfect for game days, and they even have brunch served from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Sunday. Hayes City Store is dog friendly, and they have a tree net for kids. Join the folks out at Hayes City Store and bring your entire crew. For more information, check out the website at hayescitystoretx.com. Hayes City Store, it's uniquely Texas.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. Appreciate that, and thank you to our friends over at Hayes City Store as well. How many players do you think overall Texas is going to have drafted by the end of the NFL draft? Obviously, none in the first round, but do you think right now? I see that number is firmly at 5.
I would say 5 or 6.
I think they get. I think they get to 6. Actually, I think the only reason I say this because NIL has changed the game.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of discussion about it, but you've depleted a lot of the talent in those late rounds. Usually you have more talent in the late rounds of the draft. Now you don't. Those guys just stay in school and they make good money in school and they try to increase their draft stock. So it used to be, you could, I think you would have potentially better players that could push out a Trey Moore out of the back of the 6th or 7th round. I think he sneaks up in it this season only because you don't have the amount of talent that he usually has to compete with.
I agree. 100%.
I need to get 6 of them. Yeah, that's the hope anyway. But obviously Malik Muhammad, I think there's a good chance he goes early in the 3rd, almost where he thought he would potentially be a 2nd rounder if there was a run on corners at the right time. Yeah. I think they thought there would be more corners drafted in the 1st round. And if there were, that would have helped Manny Muhammad, but because of that, I think I've been saying 3rd round the entire offseason, entire draft process, and I think he still lands right there in the 3rd round, but I think it's early 3rd for him. But there's some really good players still on the board. And really good corners that are still on the board.
Yes, no doubt.
So, all right, Jerry, any last words for the folks out there before we end today's live stream?
Yeah, a little football recruiting, because I know some people asked about that early. Members of the Texas staff are on the road this week. Chris Gilbert was in Mississippi. Kenny Baker was out, I think, Houston, and then out of state. Mark Orfeh was out in North Carolina. A couple of other coaches on the road. There's only been one new 2027 offer made, I believe, the offensive lineman out in Hawaii. There was an offer a few days before that in 27. A lot of 2028, 2029 guys have been offered this week. So we'll kind of table some of those guys for lengthy discussion until they actually show up on campus in June for a camp or something like that. But look, as far as some individual guys, I still feel good about Texas and John Meredith. I think Alabama's 2nd, A&M 3rd, Ohio State 4th. I feel good. I feel good about some other guys for Texas right now. I feel like Texas has got Joakim Gouda, the linebacker, the inside backer out of the Atlanta area who's moved to McEachern, on campus twice. And I think this is really lining up to be a Georgia-Texas deal, so Kirby versus Will, because that's what that will take on. That will take on Kirby versus Will, right? Because that's a personal thing as buddies and competitive brothers going at it for a top linebacker in Kirby's home state. That's what that's going to take on. Florida's probably 3rd there. But I think Texas they're in. So I think there's been a couple of guys that have kind of dropped off the OV list. We took Jeremiah Culpepper off the OV list, the guy that Texas was leading for going into his spring unofficial visit. I think Texas has kind of gone another direction right now. Could it change? It could. But I think Texas has kind of gone another direction there right now. So I think there's still some changing going on. I think as far as the corners in state, I think heading into the spring evaluation period,
that's good.
I think they're outside of Meredith. There's 2 guys to really know, I think, right now. And there's a lot of guys visiting, but I think maybe who's on top right now is Dylan McGee out of Red Oak. Obviously in the District of Doom up there on site where it used to be. And then Trenton Blaylock, obviously the son of Derek Blaylock, his brother of Torrey Blaylock, the Oklahoma running back. But Trenton Blaylock's been blazing on the track, 10.45, 10.55, 10.6 all spring. He was on campus for an unofficial. Both those guys are coming in for June official visits. I think Texas will take 2 or 3 corners in this class. I think that number could go to 3, 2 for sure. But it looks like those are all going to come from in-state in this class. It's a really talented group of in-state corners. Then I think it's safety. It's the kid at junior Tuapo out of Alabama, Thompson High, who'll come in for an OV. And then Isaiah Udom out of South Oak Cliff and DFW area coming in for an OV. That's a real battle with SMU because SMU's really fighting NIL-wise to keep some of those kids at home early on. But Texas loves Isaiah Udom. We'll see where that goes, if SMU can upset Texas or win the battle. But I think that's pretty much where some DB recruiting is at right now.
Is it they taking a lot of corners just because they're projecting like the roster construction going forward, or just because it's such a deep year for corners?
I think it's roster going forward. I think Will Muschamp, this is kind of his first full class at Texas. And look, Bo Masco obviously is going to be in the NFL draft a year from now. And kind of how do all those guys fit Will Muschamp and what he wants to do defensively that could possibly return?
That's true. They have such a
I think they're looking for pure speed at corner in this. I mean, outside of John Mayer, I think a Blaylock guy is really fast if you can beat out Oklahoma for him. I think Dylan McGee's a really fast athlete. He's running the 10-7s, really good ball skills. I think they're kind of looking for some of that long speed. Oh, Montre Jackson, I forgot about. Obviously, Montre Jackson is right there too. Long speed guy, right? I mean, so Montre may be number 2 on that list, but those are kind of your 4 top corners. I think there's about 3 others that are going to visit, but I think the long speed is, I think Muschamp's making a big point of emphasis about that in this class.
Interesting. Are all these guys, they're still kind of the same length as the corners that they have now? We still talking about longer guys, and these guys shorter than
Yeah, I mean, like I think Dylan McGee is 6'1.5". Montre Jackson's right at 5'11". Of course, Meredith's kind of freaky. He's like 6'2.5". But then Blaylock's probably right around 5'11". There's a kid Cameron Roberson out at Cypress Springs, who's a 6-foot kid. There's Blake Jenkins, who was on campus Saturday out at Katie Tompkins, who's about a 6'1" kid. So I think that 6-foot long arms, but really I think it's that track speed, that turn and run ability to have speed down the field, Rod.
If you're gonna play press man,
you're gonna get beat.
You're gonna get beat, and you got to make sure they got straight up catch up speed.
They can get the gas.
Yeah. And that's probably what he's thinking about. Like, hey, I got the side. I'll teach him how to play press. We'll teach him that. I need the guys who have makeup speed, that when they're beat, at least they won't stay beat. Some guys get beat and they stay beat. They get beat and it's over. Some guys get beat, they don't stay beat. They got that high level speed to catch up. Great stuff, Jerry. Appreciate it. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. Nobody does it better. Matthew is the real MVP. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Garage Beer. Oh, look at that. Boom. How about this one? It's still pretty cold too. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not even gonna drink it. I'm gonna wait till the program is officially over. But thanks to Garage Beer, thanks to our friends over at Prize Picks, thanks to Hayes City Store as well, and thanks to Vaughn Lane. We appreciate them. Thank you to each and every one of you for watching and listening. Thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate that. Jerry, great stuff as always. Appreciate your expertise. Go check out the website, ontexasfootball.com. It's some really great stuff over there. Jerry breaking down the latest roster construction by the basketball team. Boom. That's why Matthew's the best in the business. And right now, spring sale, you can get a year subscription over at ontexasfootball.com for $39.95. Use that code OTFOG. It's just that easy to get exclusive access to the best content about Texas football and Texas basketball, actually, and Texas sports, period, on texasfootball.com. Thank you very much, Matthew. And for Jerry and for Matthew, I'm Mike Tom Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.